The New York Times fact checks Donald Trump. So I decide to fact check the New York Times. Hi, thanks for watching. So today is Friday. So on my channel, that's Fact Check Friday. And I decided to give Snopes a rest. And let's look at some other fact checking out there in the world. How about the paper of record, the New York Times? Well, the New York Times has a resident fact checker, Linda Qiu. It's Q-I-U. I think I'm saying that right. And I've pulled this article from last week. Trump's inaccurate claims about highways, immigration, and Beyoncé from a Pennsylvania rally. Well, that sounds exciting. President Trump said his campaign rallies drew larger crowds than concerts from Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Bruce Springsteen. That was one of 15 inaccurate claims he made. Well, that's quite a claim. Trump is claiming that his campaign rally was bigger than concerts from Beyoncé and Jay-Z and Bruce Springsteen. That's insane. And since Linda Qiu has made this the number one thing that she's going to fact check in her article, this is the headline. Let's fact check that one in particular. So down the article it says, Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Bruce Springsteen were drawing crowds smaller than my crowds. The facts? False. Well, that solves it. It's false. Well, that sounds like a pretty insane thing for Trump to say. Did he really say that? Let's go to the rally and find out.
I remember watching one, and we were starting to do really well. That last 2 weeks, I had crowds like this everywhere. We had thousands of people outside. They couldn't get in. I said, so why are we going to lose? Hillary would come in, she'd have 350 people. She'd bring in Beyoncé. And then Jay-Z would get up and he'd use language that was so bad. If I ever used that language, I'd be run out of the country. They say Trump's language is very tough. Did you ever hear Jay-Z? And she'd bring in Bruce Springsteen. And they'd draw crowds. They were drawing crowds smaller than my crowds. And I said, why are we going to lose? And you know what? We didn't.
Okay, so from the rally, he says Hillary would come in. She'd have 350 people, she'd bring in Beyoncé. Nowhere in the rally did Trump say that his crowds were bigger than Beyoncé's concert crowds. He was specifically talking about Hillary's campaign rallies, where she would bring in superstars like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Bruce Springsteen. That's what he said at the rally. But Linda Qiu does not interpret it that way. She has her own interpretation, and what I would like to think is a bad faith interpretation. But Linda Qiu apparently can read Trump's mind and knows that he means Beyoncé's concert crowds, even though he didn't say that. He was talking specifically about Hillary Clinton's campaign stops. This is a bad faith interpretation, and this happens all the time in the media. So in the New York Times here, Linda Qiu further makes the case this is not the first time that Mr. Trump has compared crowd size to Beyoncé and Jay-Z, though it appears to be the first time he's brought up the boss into the mix. And she links to an article from Politifact. Well, guess what? Linda Qiu has done this article before. In fact, before she worked at the New York Times, Linda Qiu worked at Politifact, and she did this article. In closing argument, Donald Trump wrongly says he outdraws Beyoncé, Jay-Z. This is from Monday, November 7th, 2016. See, this is not a new claim by Trump. Trump has said this several times at his rallies. And so in this fact-checking on Politifact here, she puts up a video clip of Trump from the rally.
Beyoncé and Jay-Z, I like them. I like them. And you know what they do? I get bigger crowds than they do. It's true. I get far bigger crowds. Look at this.
And in this article, Linda Qiu puts up the quote from this video that says, Beyoncé and Jay-Z, I like them, Trump told the crowd. And you know what they do? I get bigger crowds than they do. It's true, I get far bigger crowds. Well, from that short clip, that's indeed what he said. And this video is from the New York Times, so I'm sure that Linda Qiu has access to the longer clip.
And I don't think it's going to work. And she's not getting any crowds. So she gets Beyoncé and Jay-Z. I like them. I like them. And you know what they do? I get bigger crowds than they do. It's true. I get far bigger crowds. Look at this place.
So the quote on Politifact isn't even accurate. The quote starts with, Beyoncé and Jay-Z, I like them. But when we play the whole clip, Trump says, and she's not getting any crowds. So she gets Beyoncé and Jay-Z. I like them. I like them. And you know what they do? I get bigger crowds than they do. Again, the sentence doesn't even start with Beyoncé and Jay-Z. The sentence is, and she's not getting any crowds, so she gets Beyoncé and Jay-Z. She starts the sentence in the middle of the sentence. She cuts out the entire first part of the sentence. And that was intentional, to misrepresent what Trump said. I don't think that that's fact-checking. To me, this is straight-up propaganda. I think fact-checking is really important, and it disappoints me when I see the New York Times, the paper of record, just printing lies. Now, if Trump is so terrible and he needs to be fact-checked all the time, well then, you don't need to make things up. In the story of the boy who cried wolf, and if the media is the boy, we have heard wolf thousands of times. We don't believe it anymore. Look, should someone be checking Donald Trump and seeing if what he's saying is accurate? Yes, of course. That would be honest fact-checking. In this article, in the New York Times, Linda Qiu says that Trump made 15 inaccurate statements. And the major one, the first one she talked about, was this crowd size Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Bruce Springsteen thing. And it was a lie. Well, when you lie to me about the first thing, why would I believe anything else? I think fact-checking is important. And I don't see really anybody else fact-checking the fact-checkers. So I decide to do it. And I'm constantly amazed at how bad it is. If you think that this video is important, can you do me a favor and share it with other people? I make videos on lots of different subjects, not just fact-checking. But I think this is important. And I think it's important that the New York Times does fact-checking. But when I look at the list of articles that Linda Qiu has fact-checked over the past couple weeks, Trump, 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 Trump. There are other things going on in the world besides Donald Trump. You can fact-check other things. And if you want to fact-check Trump, just do it honestly. Because right now, there's no reason for anyone to believe what you write. But let me know. Maybe I'm totally off base. Was I fair in my assessment? Let me know in the comments. Peace. Help me reach my goal of 1 million of 2,000 subscribers by clicking the like button and subscribing. Thanks.